I have more of a technical question as it relates to the language studies, because our children seem to be able to read and comprehend, but they have never been taught much grammar. So when we do the assessments, they can read at a certain level, but the grammar part of the assessment, they're not able to do very well. So then where would be the appropriate place to start them?
The appropriate place to start them would be somewhere halfway between the two. So you definitely don't want to start them on a reading level that is so below their reading level, because you're giving them very immature books.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you would start them maybe one level below their reading and explain to them that, yes, we know these books are easy for you, but you're going to just fly through these books because we just need to spend a bit of time on your grammar over here. So technically that's how you would begin them. And if that grammar level isn't actually in line because it's really behind, then what you would do is realize that the language book you've got at that level even is going to actually be repeating all what was done up until that. Do you see what I mean? So let's say now it's introducing pronouns. It's not going to just forget about the nouns. It's also going to have the nouns in there. However, if there's some real basics that aren't done, then what I would suggest is you do a bridging grammar course.
Mm-hmm.
You know how to do that as teachers. You know, take the absolute basics of grammar and put together like a little grammar bridging course and actually teach them the foundation blocks of grammar, and then bring them in at that grammar book that is a little bit below their reading level, and then let them go on from there. But I'm just comforting you with the fact that it is going to keep building on itself and repeating what has already been done.
Okay.
It doesn't just ignore, okay, we've done that now, let's forget about that and move on. It keeps keeping it in the program and just adding to it rather than leaving it out. Yeah. Okay. I think the same applies with maths. You know, it's exactly the same thing. You need to go back one level if you feel they're struggling, and you'll find that it'll all just come together because it does the same thing. It adds on and builds up from there, from each level.
We have our high school children that are not versed in any form of fractions in a good, solid way. So we've gone through the books and found that we do realize that it's all color books, and the fraction books is like on a grade 6 level where it's supposed to be. Should we then take them back to that level, or should we do a bridging course with the maths as well?
No, I wouldn't do a bridging course with the maths. This is what I would do with the maths. Let's say you've got a 16-year-old that can't do fractions. I would take everybody that can't do fractions and do epsilon with them because it's fractions. And now, if they can't do epsilon, then you take them back to the next one. All right, and you just keep going back like that and start it where you realize the holes started happening, and build up from there. You can safely do that even though it might be a 16-year-old doing zeta, because what's going to happen is the maturity and the other skills that are in place are going to help that progression go fast. They're not going to be spending a year and a half on zeta, one wouldn't think. They're going to get up, go through the levels of the books quite quickly. But the other thing you say is they don't have a grasp on fractions. It's very often that they can't do division very solidly either.
Multiply.
Or multiply. So
None of it. No.
you see, they don't have understanding. They might have been taught it, but they don't understand anything.
Yeah.
If it means with maths that you need to go back to gamma and start getting multiplication done, even with a 16-year-old, it's really not a problem, because as far as actually do they have to do all the lessons in the gamma book, you know, you're trying to see the bridging aspect of it.
Yeah.
It's not necessary. You can just go through the test book and do the test after the first thing, and they can't do it, for example. Then you do the lesson of that, get them to do what they need to from the book, okay, and then move on. So you get it. It's pretty straightforward as far as, but it's way preferable to take them back to where you feel that they didn't have it in the first instance. If they haven't understood multiplication, everything thereafter is not going to work. So rather get that down
because
solid.
they're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So they
even in
literally.
multiplication, they have to count them.
And then they just draw on the paper.
And they have to draw lines on the paper.
Okay, now, well, you see now, if they watch Steve's DVDs, lessons on multiplication, that's going to stop. They're going to learn and listen to the skip counting songs, and
Yeah.
they're going to learn to not do that, and they're going to get that understanding in. And then they'll be able to fly from there on.
So they would then also start on the skip counting song.
Yes.
And make
Definitely.
it fun because
Yes.
that's what's going to
Oh, yeah.
be necessary.
I think